Hello walkers, and welcome back to City Walks, the channel where I walk you around and we discover places together. I'm going to flip you around here and I'm going to tell you a little bit of myself, a little bit about myself, and then a little bit about where we are today. Hi there, my name is Henry. I will be your proxy walker, your virtual guide, and your co-discoverer as I walk in front of some traffic here. I'm going to flip you around again so that you can enjoy the walk. 1, 2, 3. Today we are in Lewistown, Montana, the geographical center of Montana, a very large state, so there's a lot of Montana all around us. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about Lewistown, but first I'm going to thank our Patreon supporters. We've got a couple new supporters, and I want to thank all of you, past and present, for your support. It really does make a huge difference to me. It's just encouragement, and any kind of cost defrayment helps me keep doing these videos. So thank you so much. Thanks to the people who've done one-time donations as well. I really do appreciate it. It does help, and it lets me know that you guys value this channel, so thank you. There are links to both of those in the YouTube description below. I'm going to start you off by, we walked right past it, the junior high school. This building's from 1921, but it looks like it's been rehabbed recently. It's really good condition, nice windows, looks like they've done a lot of work on it. We are on Main Street, and what we're going to do is we're going to walk you through the basically downtown area. I am. And we'll talk as we go. One of the caveats I like to give out is that I'm not an expert in these places. Can't be an expert guide in all places. So we're going to discover a little bit together. Hopefully we'll see some cool buildings and learn some interesting facts. And I will try not to talk too much, but I struggle with that sometimes because I just enjoy sharing with you guys. So Lewistown, Montana is about 6,000 people, around about there, and it's in, as I mentioned, the center of Montana. So we've got 7 mountain ranges around here, and one of which is, I think, the Snowies or Little Snowies, and the Belts, the Little Belts, something like that. I don't know all of them, but I'm up here because, in addition to sharing this walk with you guys, I'm up here to bring my son. They have a driving course up here west of town where they take the kids or adults out and help them, put them into driving conditions where the car is out of control, and helps them, one, experience that, and two, how to deal with it, and how to do when you hit a patch of black ice or something, how to deal with that. I didn't say, and you'll get, if you watch these videos long enough, you'll know that I'm, one, easily distracted, and two, often forgetful of what I was gonna say. I didn't tell you that it's 75 degrees today, Fahrenheit, 24 degrees Celsius, about 10:30 in the morning in mid-July. Last year I was here about this time, and it was 80s or 90s and smoky air. This is the county courthouse. This is the county seat of, Fergus County, thank you. And that means that it's basically the political and legal capital of the county. That's a classical building. Lewistown was first settled apparently by the Métis people, and they're an interesting group, and I would encourage you to look more about them up online. I don't know a lot about them other than some of the, a little bit of the backstory, and I don't really want to mess that up too badly because I'm pretty vague on it. However, that was in about 1879, 1880s, and then there was a gold rush in the nearby mountains. Look at this classic old buildings. Carnegie libraries. There's a bunch of these Carnegie libraries around. We've got one in Livingston, there's one in Dillon. So there's a gold rush in the 1880s in the nearby mountains, and I think it might have been the Snowies, I'm not sure. Anyhow, look at this building, 1907. So, and then it became the eastern terminus for one of the major railroads, or the western terminus, one of the terminuses, termini. And they shipped a lot of bricks out of here, and now it's mainly, I believe, an agricultural center. And so there's a lot of ranching around here, some dry land farming, and some irrigated farming. But it's a really neat town. It's got a lot of, with all the ranching, a lot of cowboy culture, and I'll get into that a little bit later. One of the issues that they're dealing with out here. I just can't get enough of this courthouse and how beautiful it is. And I think the fact that it's so well maintained and manicured in terms of the lawn and the grounds helps a lot. Okay, did I say that? I'm trying to keep up with all the things that I need to tell you guys, or want to tell you guys. So, I'm gonna hustle across here. Somebody's very kindly waiting. Yeah. I think that the buildings and the the downtown area belies a little bit the population. I don't know if it was I didn't look it up, whether the population has decreased over the years. But you can see they had a lot of money in here at one point. Here's a 618 coffee house. I'm not sure if they're still in business. Oh, looks like they are. Anyhow, the downtown buildings here are much larger and more significant than they are where I live in Lewistown, Montana. But less population, like 75% of the population. So it's kind of neat. I'm kind of like having it. I think there's some, obviously filling these buildings and paying for their maintenance. It's got to be a challenge. We're going to cross 6th here. If you like these videos, please like and comment. But also, if you want to see more, you can go to citywalksvirtualtours.com, and you can search for walks based on location, continent, and in the U.S. by state, and by walk time. So there's different categories of walk time that you can find to your liking, and some VR stuff too. I love these old buildings. And I like that they have some dates on some of them. The Lewistown News, that's a cool building. I think that's glass block on top, maybe? It looks like it, maybe not. 1909 on the Able Brothers. I believe this is Highway 2 that is main streets. So what we're going to do, we're going to walk down one side, I think, and then maybe walk back the other. And if we have time, we will go back into the side streets. You have quite a few. There's a bookshop, and there's another bookshop up the hill. And then you've got several restaurants and coffee shops downtown. There's a theater, movie theater, and there's also a couple, like the Elks maybe, or no, the Legion and the Eagles, BPOE. These buildings. I guess I'm going to show you one side and then the other. Also down here that we will pass by is the American Prairie Discovery Center. And that's a visitor center that an organization called the American Prairie has put out, or has built. And so American Prairie is a private entity, nonprofit, and what they've done, and are doing, here's a Legion here, is they're buying up ranch land slowly, and cool little building there, and they're doing it because in this area to the north a ways is the largest tract of undeveloped short grass prairie and sagebrush steppe left. And I think there's a similar but different section in the remotest parts of Asia. And so they're doing that. They're building it, buying up land. They've got like 500,000 acres of deeded and BLM land, which gets complicated. But and the idea is just to let it be wild, let it go back to its natural state. And it's meeting a lot of resistance. And I think partly, here's a Discovery Center here, and we'll get a better look at it when we come. They put a lot of effort into this, a lot of work. It's a really interesting Discovery Center, however you come down on it. I think the ranching community, one thought, oh, this is a governmental overreach by the federal government, and there's a lot of resistance to that here in this part of the world, which it isn't. But it sort of became now, well, they're buying up all this land, which was ranched. Look at this building. And I'll get back to that in a second. I love this building. So cool. And this one across the street too, there's a Judah Theater. It's now a movie theater and some shops. But this is Main and 3rd across. Any case, back to the issue at hand. You know, you buy up this land, it's no longer ranched. Well, that sounds good. But then there aren't people ranching that, and families, and without people and families, you need a certain density to maintain businesses like grocery stores and pay taxes on roads, which the APR does, the American Prairie does pay taxes. But, you know, you have all these other secondary issues that these communities, these people that live here have to deal with. And so there's a lot of resistance. There's a lot of posters called, hi there, how are you? Good. And they say, save the cowboys, stop American Prairie. Sorry. And I think there's just a reticence. You know, the other issue is then if American Prairie is buying land, well, look at this. Vincent Brew, a new brewery, is buying up the land, then it keeps the cost high or drives it up, possibly, for young people that might want to get into ranching. And that's another fear, I think. You know, on the other hand, the market values that as something to conserve. So it's a very complex issue, and I've done a lot of work for American Prairie. I'm super excited for that project and what it represents and how cool it could be. But I understand that I don't live here, so I'm not the one being asked to pay the price or to bear the burden. So it's a very complex issue. So if you're interested about it, you can look up American Prairie online, and you can look up Save the Cowboy online and see the different points of view on those. Here's what I like about it. The idea that they could have a herd of 20,000 wild bison thundering across the prairie, and we could see that in our lifetime. That grizzly bears are a plains species that are only in the mountains because that is where they haven't been hunted out. Same with wolves. And wolves and grizzly bears can live side by side with animals, but it's going to cost somebody something to maintain that. And, you know. Okay, so that's why I'm excited about that. Just the idea of having this vast natural area. Totally understand that both sides have interested points. Hi there. Back to Lewistown. I was driving up here this morning. We had to leave at like 5. And just the rolling hill country and grasslands and mountains in the distance, and saw a lot of deer and a couple elk and pronghorn, and I was just reminded of how beautiful this state is in the summer. All right, so guess I'm going to go up one more block. Across the way is the Yogo Inn. Yogo sapphires, I think, are mined around here, or were. And I don't know the story on those, but they're kind of specific to Montana. And in the hotel they have, inside, they have an indoor pool. And in the sort of indoor courtyard, they have a little marker that marks the geographic center of Montana. This is Big Spring Brewing. They serve beer and food, and it smells really good right now. I've had 2 breakfasts today, but I'm enticed by the smell of their grill. Access Drive and Miller Drive over there. So what I'm going to do, actually, is go left here, avoid the religious outreach, just because I don't have time for that conversation today. Here's a restroom area. They've really redone this park, and it's really nice. I like the mixture of metal, wood, and stone. It's really pretty cool. Got a little playground over here. But what I wanted to show you is, we'll go up here to the bridge. They've got a couple different bike and footpaths around town, and let's be honest, I would not expect that in a rural city. They've got enough expenses to deal with, but they've really invested here, and it's a neat little town. There's stuff to do around here. There's food and places to stay, and they have a choke cherry festival and some other stuff that goes on around here. So if you're coming across on, I think it's Highway 2, is it 2 or 200? It might be 12. I should look that up. It's a great place as a great waypoint. Oh, look at this. Must be the bike path. This is an old railroad bridge, I think. Anyway, look how peaceful. These prairie streams can be just so nice. I'm gonna come over here to the other side too. I think this is Big Spring Creek. What I really want to do is, looks really fishable. Look at it. Looks really refreshing for a warm day. They've got this kind of little park and band stage, I guess, not a band stage, but a regular stage. So we'll go up and make our way down the other side of downtown and get a look at the buildings on the other side, and then hopefully we'll have time. Maybe we won't, but we'll find out if we have time to go off to the sides, at least one side, for sure. I'm a big fan of these bike paths and pedestrian pathways. How do I say this? We live in a small town in a rural community, and it's super tempting to go live out in the country. That would be beautiful. Love it. But I got to be honest with you, I really enjoy not having to drive. And just being able to walk everywhere in town is fantastic. Being able to ride my bike to the grocery store is fantastic. Not having to find parking is fantastic. And I'm really envious of what Lewistown has done with these little paths. And, you know, it's not France, but it's public access. I see somebody on looks like an e-bike down there. Just a easy way to get around when the weather is cooperative and gets you outside, and I enjoy it. I actually spend way too much time personally in front of a computer and have found myself wishing I could get out more. That's not quite right. Wishing I would get out more. I mentioned the Yogo Inn, which is off here to our left. They do have a bar and restaurant as well. And that's usually where we stay. There are a couple others, I think, west of town. I'm not sure if there are any east of town. We're on 200. That's what we're on. That doesn't seem right. I guess 2 is up on the High Line. 12 is to the south. Yeah, so that's part of this channel, is that I make mistakes and try to correct them. If you find a mistake that I make, or want to add additional info or share memories or experiences from Lewistown or the other walks, please leave a comment in the YouTube section. YouTube comments section. I love interacting with you guys. I love getting comments. I love getting better information, especially if I make a mistake. You know, if I make a mistake, it's because I don't know, and I can't correct it if I don't know. So I appreciate those. Pardon my sniffles. So this is the junction with Highway 87, and that heads out north, and that's the way you would get up to Fort Peck, which is a giant wildlife management area, I think, and it's a giant reservoir that backs up behind Fort Peck Dam on the Missouri River. I guess I maybe need to push the button.
Wait.
Yep. Cross anyway. We had breakfast here at the 406 Cafe, third breakfast this morning. It doesn't look like much, but they've got this outdoor seating and plenty of room inside. It's really nice. People are super friendly, and it's good diner style food. Recommend. Here's the Eagles and Parr Creek Bakery. Oh no, they're retiring at the end of July. Well, congrats. Hopefully somebody will take it over. The Montana Tavern across the way. Here's this new brewery that I didn't know about. Maybe I'll eat lunch there. They're open. Vino and Brews. Well, maybe it's not a brewery. Maybe it's just a restaurant. Still, might as well try it out. Sports Center, sporting goods store, building across the way here. We're on Main, and I just love these old western downtown areas, and I love the fact that they haven't that they've been able to keep these buildings intact, despite what I'm sure are some hefty economic challenges. But they're just so beautiful and such a different, a different way of building. Just the ornateness and the artistry of these facades, and even the brickwork and the ghost signs on the side. This old building here, I love this theater, the Judith Theater. So the Judith River and the Judith Valley are near here, and then there's a place called Judith Gap to the south that has a bunch of, here, the Rising Trout Coffee and Cafe has some good pastries and breakfast burritos and stuff. Anyway, the Judith Gap has a big wind farm, turbine farm down there, produce a bunch of electricity. It's been there for a long time, and it's kind of a interesting deal. They still ranch all around it, and I don't know if they're ranching or they're farming wheat, all with the turbines there as well. So it's not removing much in terms of footprints. But I will say, having gone there and stood beneath one of those turbines, it's deceptive. They're so big that those turbine blades, the tips of them, are going really, really fast. And so they come whooshing down. And it's like watching a 747 take off, it looks like it's going really slow from a distance because it's so big. But when you're up close, it's fast, and it's a little disconcerting, to be honest, but really impressive. And the cost of wind compared to other power sources is extremely low. I think it's down there with solar. And I think it's definitely less than coal. now, currently, and it's we're gonna make a left on 4th because I don't want to wait. Cool mural here. Let's see it. Like those. I like murals. I used to not like them. Stuff from the 70s was. I thought it was old when I was a kid and unattractive, but now I like the stuff they're doing. I can understand the appeal. There's 2 bars that are pretty much 3 bars that Montana towns seem to have. A lot of towns in the West. There's the Mint, like this one, which actually seems kind of upscale, maybe. The Sport and the Stockman. All these Western towns seem to have these things. Jano, maybe? I guess that's how you pronounce it. Jano or Jano. In Livingston, until a couple years ago, we had all 3 of them. Now the Sport's no longer in business, and the Stockman is no longer in business. It's now the Walk, which is a Chinese restaurant, but we do have the Mint. Oh, there was an old 1920s or 30s car down here earlier. I was hoping to see. We're gonna make a left, go around this church. Interesting stop sign design. I wonder if they do that because of the wind. Give it a little extra bracing. Try and keep this thing centered. This is the First Presbyterian Church. I'll spin around here and give you a better look before we make a right on Watson, which is this street. See the fire department down there. Pretty church building. What is that, Gothic style, maybe? Neo-Gothic. That's one of the things that I should do, is get a better grasp of architectural styles. Walking up Watson from 5th. 6th Avenue. Let's go this way. There's an old high school, which I think is now condominiums up here. I've commented on other videos this year, but I had a fairly mild spring. Hasn't been very wet, but I think because it hasn't been very hot, we still got a lot of green grass and fields and hay and that sort of thing. What is this? This is Water Street. Here's what I wanted to show you. Classic old high school building. I don't see it. 1919. You know, for a rural town, Fergus County High School, in 1919, this was a lot of money. It was a big school. We're going to make a left on Spring Street, back into this neighborhood. I believe this keeps going down. Look at that yard up there. It's really pretty with flowers. Kind of drops down, and there's a couple parks off in this direction. Very quiet, peaceful neighborhoods. I was talking with a friend this morning who also brought their kids up for this driving thing about how great the living in a small town is. I was also commenting about how people moving out here leads to a sprawl, which I'm not a fan of, but you know people when you walk downtown, you know people when you go to a cultural event, you know people when you go out to dinner. And you can have road rage, but if you act on it, you're probably going to see those people again, and you're probably going to get called out. And you can act angry and lash out at people, but you're not going to have any friends if you do that, because there's just no other group, you know. Your friend group is limited. The pool. This is a really beautiful house. They've got deer fencing up. You know, a town like this, right, surrounded by agricultural land. Here on Spring Street, 5th. Let's go down one more block. You get a lot of deer that just mosey into town. Oh, there's a stoplight down there. Interesting. Love all these mature trees, these old houses. Henry, be quiet. This is Pine Street, and we're going to make a left. We're going to make our way back to that central part of town here in a little bit, but I just want to enjoy the quiet out here for a bit. It's like a new build. Just want to go up and see this creek. Whoops, excuse me. Look how idyllic that is. Oh my gosh. I mean, if you were a kid growing up here, you'd be in that creek. I would be. I mean, I wouldn't drink the water, but it looks clean enough to play in. If I'm wrong, please correct me in the comments section, but that's awesome. Breeze is picking up. The camera I'm using is called a DJI Osmo Pocket 3, and I know it's probably getting some wind noise right now, but the wind's quite strong, and yet the software is able to filter a lot of that out, and it just does a great job on sound, it does a great job on video. It's really an amazing camera. There's like one or two small tweaks I might make to it, but it's really an impressive camera system, and I can't wait to see what they come up with next. The current 3s are really hard to get now. They've gone skyrocketed on price with at least in the States, with the tariff stuff going on, and so they're kind of hard to get now, from what I understand. Last I checked. Caveat emptor. Anyway, I just thought that I try and put a link to these if you ever want to buy it. It sort of helps people know what I'm using for these walks. Other people have commented, there's several people that have commented that might start their own walks. I encourage you to do that. They're walking channels. It's a great way, great motivator to get outside. And here's an e-bike, and get moving. Good excuse for a walk. Oh, and I keep forgetting to say this at the beginning of these things because I don't want to bore you with a bunch of housekeeping stuff, but I started a while ago a Facebook group. So that's different from a page because it allows you guys to share stuff. And I try to share my walks, but also any other walks I find that are kind of cool. And also a lot of information about walking and the health benefits of walking and how to get the most out of walking and all the great things that walking does for you. So I hope you can get a chance to check that out if you're on Facebook. Here's the fire department. A lot of nice stuff. Anyway, and share stuff with me if you find walks that are interesting. We got a couple people that are sharing what are their walks, and a couple people that have shared some other walks. And so if you find interesting things that you think the community might enjoy, please, I hope you'll go share them there. I would enjoy that. Okay, we're back on Geno and 3rd. You can see the mountains rising up just outside of town. Usually that kind of unit, I think, would be on the roof. They've chosen to put it outside. Looks like an apartment building. So here's the sports center, and by the sign there's a tower with a green, what's basically a blind or a hide. And so this is the sporting goods store. And then there are at least two grocery stores here. This is Albertsons. It's a chain. I think it's kind of a Western chain, but I'm not sure about that. It might be national. And then there's west of town, there's a fairly new Town and Country, which is, I don't know if it used to be IGA and they changed the name, or if it's a different thing, but I think they're employee owned, which I think IGAs were too. But I don't know if there's one east of town or not. There used to be a Shopko out there, I know that, which was kind of a small scale discount Walmart type, but without the scale of Walmart. I love that. These old signs on the buildings, they're called ghost signs. And so a lot of times anyway, they're signs for non-existent buildings that they usually were painted onto the brick. No reason to remove them. And so they stick around for, I don't know, 100 years or so. Kind of a call back to the past. Okay, so we're at 1st Ave and Jano. And we're going to cross over here. And then I'm going to cross again. You see a couple, one sign here. Well, maybe it's just a white block. The Snowy Mountain Mud Espresso sign. And they've created a frame for advertisements on that building. I guess so they don't have to paint over the whole thing, but I was going to say there's going to be a ghost sign in the making, but not quite. You know, I was going to end this here, but I think I'm going to keep going because I want to get over to that towered building. And I've got the light.
Wait.
Wait a bit longer here. go. This gas station, you'd think would be a great country corner gas station, and it's, you know, it's a great store. We've been in there before. It's a typical gas station store, but the access is, you only have 2 points of access, really. It's pretty tight in there. I'm going to come up to Broadway and make a left. I mentioned, I guess this is Highway 200. What? Huh. Anywho. I think this is St. Leo's. I'm assuming it's a Catholic church, but I'm not entirely sure. Again, a sizable edifice for, you know, the center of Montana. It's not like we're a bunch of bumpkins out here, but, you know, there's not a lot of people. It's funny, I think people's assumptions, especially people in the major cities, to see their perception of Montana. I remember 20 years ago, 15 years ago maybe, there was a show called Weeds about a suburban mother that has to turn to growing weed to support her family. And they go on the run, and they're in Montana at the dairy festival. And don't get me wrong, there are dairy farms out here, but it's not a major agricultural thing out here. Right? I think they were getting us confused with Minnesota or Wisconsin. Dude, look at that church bed. We're on Broadway. I'm not sure if I mentioned that. Here's the Stockmans. They got a mint and a Stockman. Maybe there's a Sport around here too. I think this is the back of that Discovery Center. Doing some work. Hi there. Oh. Central Montana variety. Looks like kind of a catch-all store with some groceries. 1908, the Masonic Temple. Okay, so I think I'm going to end this up here. I want to thank you guys for joining me. There's more to Lewistown, obviously. There's more neighborhoods. There's a couple more old buildings. And then, of course, you get out to, like, it goes a ways down that way. You get out into the countryside and it's follows some of these little valleys, and it's just beautiful. So if you get a chance to come and drive through central Montana, I highly recommend it. A beautiful, beautiful state, beautiful part of the country. If you're in winter, definitely check the weather. And make sure you have plenty of gas wherever you are, whatever season. I hope you enjoyed this walk in Lewistown. If so, tell your friends and family and neighbors and shout it from the rooftops. But mainly, I just hope you'll come back next week. I'm not sure where that walk will be. Undoubtedly, it'll be fascinating. But either way, give me a comment. Take care of each other. Get out stepping. Keep on stepping is what I say. I am supposed to save that for last. We'll come out here and have one last look downtown at these buildings. So cool. And, you know, we'll see you again soon. Until then, keep on stepping. There it is.